Hi and welcome to another video. My name is Blessing. Welcome. If you're new here, if you've been here a long time, you know that I've been creating videos for so long. I just took a pause, then I became a mother, then one thing led to the other, blah, 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 blah. But today I'm here to tell you about my C-section experience. So if you are pregnant and about to schedule your C-section, or if you're just pregnant and even though you are hoping for a vaginal birth, you never know how the story goes. So sit back, relax. Let me judge you. First and foremost, I had my first child via C-section. I'm currently expecting my second and I've already scheduled my C-section. It's an elective C-section. And let me tell you, don't hear me throwing words around like elective, which also means choice, and think, wow, it must have been easy, you know, it must really be the easy way out. I'm here to tell you the story. Okay, so first of all this information is for guidance or experience sharing. I'm no medic, I have no background whatsoever, so I won't even be using like medical terms. So whatever you hear, take with a pinch of salt and talk to your OBGYN, all right? Now that that's out of the way, let us talk. First of all, my C-section was scheduled for January 1st at 6 a.m. At exactly 6:23, my child was born. But let's play back. Around 5 or 5:30, they came for me from my room and you know, prepped me to go into the theater. So they prep you and then wheel you into the theater. I remember being like, guys, can't I just walk? Like, I can still walk. Why are you wheeling me around? You know, they said if you want to walk, you can walk, but we would rather wheel you. For some people, they enter the theater with a catheter, a urinary catheter. For me, I think it was inserted when I was already on the operating table because I don't remember it being inserted. So anyway, when you get to the theater, friends, it is cold in there, but I also understand because it's such a sterile environment, but it's cold, and that's the first time it dawns on you that you are going in for a major surgery and that you are literally on your own as a person, besides of course counting on God and all the support around you. It is just you. All right. So the gynecologist that I see during my during my antenatal visits is also my surgeon. So it works for me, but it's not always the case. So I've been told. But me, I wanted to build a relationship with someone who would, you know, walk with me from the beginning to the very end. And that's how I went on a search for that gentleman, found him, came highly recommended, and he did a wonderful job. So I remember entering and seeing him for the first time in like theater scrubs, and it dawned on me. I'm like, Dr. Semakula, Pulijoli Musavo, Olongo Sadia Dala. Like, I knew he was the one going to operate on me, but like to see him in his element, like that was so strange. Anyway, so yeah, we have like a mini chat. We talk about a few things to expect. He asks to see my scars. I show him my scars. He proposes that when they're done with C-section, the kind of stitches they use should be the removable stitches because I have so many chances, higher chances of developing a keloid or hypertrophy scar. But the thought of coming back to have stitches removed was so daunting. I told him it's okay. We can use the non-removable stitches, like the ones that dissolve, for lack of a better word. Those you can just live with for the rest of your life. He didn't object. He advised, but he didn't object because I told him I'm not ready to come back and have stitches taken out. I don't know why, because I thought it was a painful process when they're taking out stitches. Even if he, you know, convinced me that it wasn't, I wasn't ready for that. So that's how I opted for the non-removable stitches. True to his word or his concern, the scar later turned into a keloid, and has been growing into like a huge keloid since. So I am not one of the fortunate ones to have like a very tiny disappearing C-section incision scar. Mine is really right there, like the moment I undress, it's right there, and it's quite the sight. Anyway, so once we were done with our little chat about expectations, I was guided onto the operating table. I was introduced to the anesthesiologist, a very kind woman. I still remember her kindness, her kind face, and how she talked to me and made me feel really like everything was gonna be okay. So she explained to me the process of a spinal, the injection that they give you in the spine. I asked whether it was painful so I could brace myself. She said it wasn't, but it would give like a stinging sensation, which it did. Once that was administered, then I was told to put myself in a sleeping position, and I did. And I remember I was holding my hair in a bun at the back because I wanted to enter theater, looking snatched. I should have known. Anyway, so they set up their curtains and all of that. So what I underwent, what I had was regional anesthesia, which means they just numb, say from here downwards to your legs. So you remain with your consciousness. You can talk, you can understand, you know what's going on. Some people are put fully under. I have never asked about the reasons for that or if it's something people still do, but what I had was a regional one. So they set up their curtains, and you are aware that they're working on you. You just don't feel pain. Before they start on you, I'm told, I didn't know, but I'm told they pinch you with like a sharp object to see whether you respond or your body responds. And once you don't respond, which I obviously didn't because I didn't even know they had done that, then they're ready to start. The C-section in itself to deliver the baby is kind of fast. It's like 10 minutes, to be honest. I don't know, I'll ask. But like it took about 10 minutes and the baby was born. 10 to 15 minutes, the baby was born. And the process of stitching up, I think, is, the longer one. But also because on that same day, I had a huge fibroid taken out. So my surgery lasted longer than it should have. Yeah, pretty much that's it. When the baby is born, for some people, you can do skin to skin. For me, I didn't know if I wanted to do that because my mind was all over the place. So they just brought the baby, showed her to me, and told me, "Oh, your baby has been born. She's alive, at 3.1 kgs. What's her name?" So yeah, they took her. So when they took her, that was it. I had her crying. Oh girl, that girl cried. The girl cried so much. I remember my surgeon saying, joking, that I must have promised to give birth to her in a better country than Uganda. So when she was born and found herself in Uganda, she was very disappointed, and that's why she cried a lot. So she was taken away, and I underwent the second surgery, which was removal of the fibroid, and then the stitching happened. And then I was wheeled out of theater after that into the recovery room where I must have been for an hour. Between when I first see my baby born, after she's born rather, to up until this time, I have no idea. I have no contact with anyone. My husband was around, so they had taken the baby to him. Of course, the nurses stationed first to work on her, but then after everything had been done, the baby was delivered to the dad, who has a story of his own about how he handled an hour's born baby and the challenges that he faced. But I had no idea that was happening. Okay, so for me, I am in the recovery room being transfused and all of that. I must have gone back into my room towards 10. I don't know, I'm not sure. Can't have kept track of time. Yeah, where I found my husband, my baby, my friend Halima, my sister Bridget. Um, I found my people waiting. So, a shocker. Now, I knew that you don't really eat before you go in for a C-section or a surgery. So I had last eaten at around 10 p.m. of the previous night before my scheduled C-section the next day. What I did not know was how long it would take for me to eat again post-surgery. So I had asked Halima to bring me katogo, I asked Bridget to bring me cold milk, and they had brought all these things only for me to be told I couldn't eat them. I couldn't feed, okay? So yeah, I couldn't. One, obviously, you don't want to have bowel movements when you just come from a major abdominal surgery, obviously. The second thing is they would rather you have your first meal or you feed after your legs have regained mobility or, I don't know, mobility. Like if you're able to feel your legs and maybe sit or whatever. Yeah. So that was that. I remember just not eating for the rest of the day and just drinking like soups. Yeah, I was fed soup. And I don't remember much about attending to the baby, honestly, because everything is a blur on that first day, besides just knowing that it happened and that there were people and I was talking. Everything's a blur. I remember the night times were harder because you're trying to like take care of the baby, but also you just had like a major surgery. Now, I want to let you know that there is no pain. You won't feel pain if you get your medication and painkillers in time. However, the pain you'll suffer should you miss taking your painkillers in time, you will live to tell for the rest of your life because I experienced it, okay? I feel like I've just a lot. Maybe I'll come back with that story in part 2. Yeah, so yeah, I remember not having like breast milk, so I didn't breastfeed her that day, and the next they were trying to bottle feed her and things were just not working. I don't remember much. So they encourage you to try and walk as soon as you get as soon as you regain your mobility. You're encouraged to walk around so that you heal and recover faster. So yeah, by the third day I was walking, the second day I was walking-ish a little, the third day I was walking around, on the fourth day walking properly, and we were discharged and went back home. And yeah, like I was really told to have my painkillers administered or taken in time because twice I missed them, and that is the greatest pain I've ever felt in my entire life, okay? So it's something you need to keep at the back of your mind. When they tell you take your painkillers, they actually mean them. They mean it. Don't go soldiering. You're not a hero. You're not a hero. That is not pain you want to experience. What else? Let's see. Oh, another shocker that really took me and caught me unaware was breast engorgement. Because initially I didn't have breast milk, so the baby they were trying to give her formula and all of that. And then suddenly I had an oversupply and I didn't have a pump, and the baby obviously wasn't latching well. And I remember getting a fever that night. It just disoriented me. Again, pain I'd never felt. But yeah, we were finally discharged, and by the 1 week mark, when I went back for review, I was recovering quite well and everything was in order. Yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you for hanging out with me. If I remember anything that I should mention, I'll make another video about it. I think the reason I'm anxious this time is because I know what happened, and I'm not looking forward to being in theater alone. So my husband wants to tag along. And let's see how that goes. If he doesn't get cold feet on the day, then I'll have company, and I'll be happy to have company. But if he does get cold feet, I also understand, because I don't think I would want to be in theater while someone I love and care about is being opened up. So we'll see. I'll let you guys know. Bye. Thanks for hanging out with me. Bye bye.